If you don't respect yourself, this video is for you. This is what happened to me, I would say, 6, 7 months ago when I started to realize the costs and what happens on simple actions that you can change to make yourself respect yourself. The first one is every promise that you break to yourself is a cost. And the cost is you don't respect yourself. That's because every promise you make and every word you say, you have to keep yourself accountable. If you say you're going to wake up at 5 a.m., you better wake up at 5 a.m. For me, it was one of the biggest things I was always scared of was approaching people. And I said I'm going to approach 2 people every day, or it was 10 people every week. And I had to keep myself accountable because when I didn't, I just felt sad. I felt anxious. I thought I am nothing. And that's the thing, you never respect yourself because you don't keep the commitments to yourself. Think about it. If you had a friend that every time they told you something, they never meant it. And the next time they're like, I'll do this for you. You're gonna be like, you're not gonna do it for me because you never keep your word. That's how you feel about you. And the only way to change that is you have to. You have to keep promises to yourself, regardless of what happens. I think 2 years ago, I said I'm not gonna drink ever again. And every time I was out with my friends, every time they were drinking, every time I went to a rave, a festival, with my sister, anywhere, if people were drinking and they told me to drink, I said, no, I'm not gonna drink because that's a commitment I kept to myself. It makes me happier, makes me feel better. Because every time you break a promise and you break your word, it hurts you more than it hurts anyone else. And when you realize that, you start to only say things that you know you're going to keep. And that's one of the best ways to start respecting yourself. The second thing is it's not that you hate your life, you just don't trust yourself enough. You don't trust yourself enough to make that leap, of faith, of live the life you want to live. And the only way you can gain more trust is you have to keep commitments to yourself. And when you start keeping some commitments to yourself, you start realizing that, okay, I trust myself. And when I trust myself, I can do things that I'm scared of doing before. If that's approaching people, approaching girls, that's taking new opportunities, that is starting a YouTube channel, anything. When you start giving commitments to yourself, you go, okay, I can do it. And now that you start gaining a little trust with yourself, that's when you can look at your opportunities and go, I don't hate me. I just dislike certain things of my life that I can change. You just don't trust yourself enough right now. And once you start building that muscle of resilience, and once that muscle is built, then you can go and do things that before you were shit scared about, before things that would terrify you. Now you go, okay, I can do it. I can try, and I'll get it done. And the way that can happen is once you start trusting yourself. And you can make changes today, but just realize it's gonna be a delay because everything happens in a delay. Like today you could change who you are and you fundamentally be a different person. But the outcomes will show 3, 6 months from now. And it's hard. For me, I was terrified because I kept doing it, but in a month, there's not a lot of change. But 3 months out, I was like, 3 months. I looked back and I went, that guy, that Rohan, would be shit scared of the things I'm doing now. And just 3 months. I'm not saying a year. In 3 months, you'll see it. But it's really hard when you are fighting your demons. You're going out of your comfort zone for the first week, for the first 2 weeks, for the first 3 weeks, but you don't see any results. But this is when I was hearing a quote. I'm going to butcher it, but I heard a quote that was pretty good. He said, don't think about how hard it is. Think about that the harder it is, that means nobody else will want to do it. And once you cross that barrier, nobody else will be behind you because you realize how hard it is. And you know how much work it took. So don't think poor me, think poor them who need to go through it all over again. And that's the mentality I've been using for a long time to be able to be more resilient. And you're going to have off days. I'm not going to lie. Some days you're going to dread doing it. But just keeping that commitment to yourself over and over and over again makes you feel so much better. And the third thing is, it's not a motivation problem of keeping these commitments. It's an integrity thing. Because you want to be able to look yourself in the mirror when nobody else is there and be like, this guy does what he says he's going to do. For me, it was, I want to be fearless. I can say that in the mirror, that my goal is to become fearless. And that means I'm going to do things that I'm scared of. Because 3 months, 6 months from now, I don't want to be scared of that thing anymore. And when you can say to yourself in the mirror when no one else is there, that's the type of self-confidence you want. Because self-confidence isn't saying to other people, oh, I do this, I do that. It's sitting down alone when nobody's watching and keep your commitments. It's easy to say something, oh, I'm going to do it in front of your friends, and then do it because your friends will make fun of you if you don't do it. It's really hard when you make promises to yourself. Nobody's keeping you accountable. There's no one there. But you will keep yourself accountable. You see when you don't approach a person. You see when you don't make content. You see when you make excuses for the gym. You see it. And the only way to get better is keep those commitments. Focus on them. Because that's the only way to improve. And just doing these 3 things that are all interrelated will allow you to be able to respect yourself more. Thank you so much for watching this video. Remember that I was in this place too. And just taking that step of making one task, just one task. And every time you make that task, for example, you say, I'm going to go to the gym today. You go to the gym. I'm going to go to the gym at 5 a.m. next week. I'm going to go to the gym. You just make one commitment, let's say every day. But you keep that commitment and you'll compound to a point where you start trusting yourself. And once you start trusting yourself, you realize that, dang, I do have integrity for my word. It's just not motivation. It's integrity. I do care about my word. I trust myself. And that's when you start realizing, I like me. Thank you so much for watching this video. Also watch my last 2 videos. And I'll see y'all next time.